Welcome to Podcasts Across Worlds, where we like to read a lot of manga, watch a lot of anime, and talk about it for hours. I'm your host, Lehua Superfina.
I'm your co-host, Mikhail Casanova.
Today, PAW episode, we are going to talk about Buddy Daddies because we just watched episode 12, the last episode of the season, and I was happy about it. And we did an episode, a PAW episode about episode 11, and oh my gosh, it tugged at our heart, it gut punched us, and we really want to have another PAW episode about the season finale of Buddy Daddies.
Yeah, like I said it before in one of the other podcasts that we've done, but like we've really gotten to a point, especially with this season. There have been so many shows that have just been like coming out this season that are just absolutely spectacular. You know, like start to finish, they grip you. They, they give you really good stories and characters. And as soon as you get really attached, it's like, all right, that's one season, we're done, you're not getting anything else.
I know, when we were talking about Buddy Daddies after watching episode 11, we were having predictions about future seasons because we were thinking, okay, this can't be the last season because in episode 11 the Sua family wanted to kill off Miri and Kazuki, because those were Rei's attachments, which could be his weaknesses. And he was supposed to be the heir to the Sua family, and they were trying to get rid of Kazuki and Miri to prepare him to be the leader.
Yeah, and so
we were predicting that at this season finale, that they were going to fight and then run away. Then season 2, it's them running away, trying to survive, fight anyone who's pursuing them. And then season 3 was going to be them overcoming the Sua family, and then kind of like a afterlife, post hitman life, post being free and such.
Yeah, we completely when we were looking at how this is going to go, like we definitely plotted out there being 3 seasons. Exactly as you said, you know, first season is, you know, introduction, then leading to them running away. Season 2 is going to be whatchamacallit, is going to look like it was going to be them on the run, and then from there, you know, we thought that the last season was going to cover them with a time skip towards the end. Basically them constantly. I felt like the last season would have been really action packed all the way through, but then we just wrapped everything up in 12 episodes, and I'm like, okay, so that's it, that's all we're getting. All right, well, I mean, it worked.
Yes, it worked. I was pleasantly surprised. I was sad that it just ended, but I was impressed by how they made everything fall into place, because in episode 12, you know, after they bring Miri back after the mom dies, and they tell her, oh yeah, your mom's away. And then the next day they wake up in their, what is it, apartment, condo, that fancy place they live in the building, and Miri's getting ready to go to kindergarten. They're gonna go to the Christmas party, and she's like, you're gonna come, right? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna go. And she's asking, is mom gonna come? They're like, oh, we don't know, we're not too sure. And you see Rei making French toast with Miri, and that was very endearing. They made it seem like, yeah, everything's normal. Yeah, totally not going to fight for our lives tonight. Because right before going to the Christmas party at the preschool, they go to the Sua organization. And what they say when they first get there at the gate is, we just want to talk. That's all. We just want to talk. And the guards are like, well, we have to check for weapons. And they check for the weapons and such. And they were letting Rei go, but they weren't letting Kazuki. And and then for some reason, Kazuki's like, "You think we didn't bring any weapons? Rei is a weapon." He's like a mad human weapon made by the leader of the Sula organization.
I mean, yeah, like it's, and I think we brought this up before in other podcasts we've done talking about Buddy Daddies, was that like the dynamic of Kazuki and Rei is just so funny because like, you know, it's that buddy cop. The show's called Buddy Daddies, but like it's that buddy cop vibe. You have, you know, Rei, who's the stone face killer, you know, badass, hand to hand combat, can't touch him, you know, expert marksman and everything like that. But then when it comes to like doing anything that, you know, merits him having to deal with or interact with people, he's like not good at it. You know, like he just wants to play Mario Kart or their version of Mario Kart, and you know, Call of Duty, and just or I think it's called Call of Duty. I think I saw that in the katakana on one of the game cases. So like he's like just a gamer and a slob, and you know, he can't cook, can't do anything, but he'll get up, work out, train, then go kill people, then come home, eat junk food, you know, and play video games. And then you got Kazuki, who is like, how the hell is he a hitman? As crappy as he is, like the dude is not in any way a good hitman whatsoever. Like he sucks at killing people. He sucks at fighting. He sucks at being a marksman or gunsman. So it's just like really wild. Like I'm just like, what is this guy good at?
Which is another reason why we thought there were going to be other seasons, because we kind of had an idea of Rei's backstory of when he was a kid and such, and we kind of had an idea of Kazuki when he was married, but you don't really know how he got into this business of being a hitman. It's a kind of weird.
Yeah, so yeah, here we go.
Oh, wow. So it's kind of weird, but it works out. I would really like to know his story and Q-chan's story.
Yeah, like we never really got that background of Q-chan and learning how they came to meet him, or how they, you know, like how he got into it. We really ultimately don't really know anything about Q-chan or what's his name? Q-taro.
And then, so back to episode 12, Rei's a killing machine, and they bulldoze their way through. They recover their weapons. They take the guards' weapons. They go into the building. Rei pretty much takes a lot of the, what's it called, agents, the other guys who work for the Soul organization.
The other hitmen that he just kind of like just steamroll through.
Yeah. So we can see that Rei is a killing machine, right? Then it gets to where Kazuki is in the kitchen, the hallway, and he encounters Ogino, the dude who likes to get the last words of the people he's killing.
Weird.
It's so psychopathic. It's like, yeah, I like to write the words of their of the last words. I like to write it down in this notebook. And he was asking for Misaki's, Miri's mom, last word from Kazuki. Oh, that was so creepy. Then he was asking Kazuki for his last words, and they're in the kitchen at that moment. Kazuki has this gas tank, and he has this lighter. He's ready to blow up the kitchen with Onigini and Ogino and himself. Then Rei comes in, saves the day, but then Ogino kicks his butt. He kicks Rei, the killing machine's butt, and
with
I'm like,
no effort.
He's a big, slow guy. And Ray, he's so flexible. He's got all these martial arts skills. He's like, he's proficient in weapons. It's like, really? Really? This big dude who looks like is moving slow is kicking your butt?
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous because like at no point throughout the entire show from when they introduced Ogino to like the end have we ever seen him move swiftly. He's always moving slow, but every movement that he does is deliberate and powerful.
He kind of reminds me of that guy from Resident Evil. Was it Resident Evil 2?
Oh, you mean Mr. X?
Yes, Mr. X. He reminded me of him, where he just like stalks you, and you just can't get away from him. Like you can run away, you can try to fight him, but you don't really kill him.
Yeah, you can down him for like a couple of seconds, and then you got to get away from him immediately.
Yeah. So I was just so perplexed that Ray was having a hard time. Then Kazuki saves the day. He stabs Ogino in the back, in the neck area. It's like, oh my gosh. And
No. Rei stabbed him.
no, Kazuki stabbed him. Kazuki
Oh,
stabbed
yeah.
him.
No, never mind. Never
We
mind.
were surprised he stabbed him.
Never mind. Yeah, and then Rei's the one who pushed him off.
Yeah. So in that split second that Ogino was caught surprised that he got stabbed, Rei took that opportunity, headbutted him, and that's where
Mr. X.
Ogino was like kind of knocked out, like hit silly, and he falls backwards, and the knife went through.
Yeah, so like when
oh my god.
Okay, so like to give an example, so like when Kazuki stabbed him, so he stabbed him in the back of the neck, and I'm assuming dude got like an iron sheet like neck because it's like all he did was he turned around and then like I think he like backhanded him or elbowed him. And then
shoved him off.
Yeah, I mean, he caught something. He didn't catch hands, but he caught something.
Mm-hmm.
So he did that, and then when Rei hit him and pushed him back, I think he headbutted him or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when he fell backwards, as he's falling back, when he fell back on his neck, that basically shoved the knife from where it was straight through. And I'm like, yo, this guy is going to be dead on impact. No. He's not. He's over here like, okay, I'm dying. Let me get my notebook and write down my last words. And I'm like, the hell you need to write down your last words? Fool, you about to die.
He got some OCD with his psychopathic
He's
ways.
like, yo, I'm going to hell, but I need to write down something so somebody can do it. And then Kazuki's like, bitch, oh God, hold on. I'm trying to catch it. He's like, I'm petty AF. Lighter, throw it in the room, blow his ass up. His book got blown.
Because there's that gas tank, remember? Kazuki was about to blow himself up.
Yeah.
That was so petty, but so satisfying. Then we get to Kazuki and Rei. They're on their way to see Rei's dad. Kazuki's like, I'll go with you. He's like, no, I got this. I just want to talk to him. And this whole time they're telling every person that's like trying to hinder them.
Literally, I just want to talk. That's all Rei's saying. I just want to talk. He didn't want to do any of this stuff.
No.
But, it was going to be a situation where at least I took it this way. You probably thought of it the same. I felt that if Rei went in there by himself, he was not going to be like leaving at all. Like I felt like if Rei went in, then his dad was going to find a way to keep him there. He's either going to like knock him unconscious or subdue him or something like that. Or potentially, I highly doubt it, because there is a moment, a little bit spoiler, a moment later on that happens where the dad, Shigeki, his name is Shigeki Suwa, he could have killed Rei. And as much as this fool talks about like you can't care or have compassion or any of these other things about family or personal attachments, he showed a moment of that when he could have killed Right.
That's true. And it's interesting how he showed that hesitation after Rei explained that, yes, we are in the dark. We are people of darkness, but I have found my light.
Yeah.
And Rei has been philosophically strong in these last 2 episodes of the
Yes.
season. Like, okay, as Mikhail said, Rei is a slob. All he wants to do is play video games at home. He's kind of antisocial. He kind of doesn't know any common sense. He's socially awkward, but by being with Miri and Kazuki, he's learned how to be kind of normal and
Find something worth having or protecting.
he knows what a family feels like, because when Kazuki and Rei were on their way to the SEAL organization, they were talking about Christmas and presents and what they should get Miri. And they were saying that they've never had presents from Santa because they never got presents from their parents. Kazuki, because he doesn't know his parents, and Rei, because his dad is, was training him to be a killer.
Yeah.
So they were talking about that, and Rei is talking about how he has found a family, even though he's acknowledging that he is a person of darkness. Both Kazuki and Mir are his light, and he wants to keep it. And he knows that he can't betray the SUA organization because he was on a mission. That was his last job.
Yeah.
It was to kill a traitor. And this traitor was trying to leave the organization for his lover to be with his family and such.
And he was the one who trained him too, right?
Trained him too.
Satoru.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was another test that dad was putting him on. It's like, I know you're attached to this man, but I'm going to tell you to kill him. So Rei was actually critically thinking about this, and he knew, okay, to protect my family, I know we can't just run away because eventually we may get killed, and I don't want us to get killed. So Rei actually found a way around it. The dad wants to keep him because he's supposed to be, 1, the heir, and 2, he's one of the best hitmen.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best. So what Rei did was made him unusable. I would never have thought of that.
Especially as a gamer, I'm kind of like, bro, I'm crying. I'm pouring a tear out for you for that.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is Rei's argument to Shigeki, his father, leader of the organization of Hitman, was that, I'm not going to be being used to you anymore. And the father wasn't convinced. So what he ended up doing was he took his gun and he put it to his right arm.
Mm-hmm,
and I'm not sure what he shot. I'm thinking he shot like somewhere in like the forearm and maybe blew out his elbow, or maybe he shot. I don't know how he did it.
He hit a muscle and a bone for sure because it went through.
Yeah, it went through. And then after he did that, he's like, I'm of no use to you anymore. And I'm over here like, damn, bro. That's hella hardcore. But then I'm also like, damn, bro, you ain't gonna win in Mario Kart no more or Call of Duty. How you supposed to, I'm like, how you supposed to play these games anymore? You just shot yourself, bro. Your gaming career? Okay, maybe you can't be a hitman no more. Esports? Really?
And I was arguing, saying, no, he can still play video games. You're like, no, he has to squeeze, he has to use muscles. I'm like, what does that have to do with his arm? That's his wrist. That's his fingers.
She completely was like going off about that. Like, what is that? I'm like, yo, what are you gonna be doing? Like a fish? You gonna be like flop? Oh, I need to hit this button. Throw my arm up.
And so I was arguing with Mikhail about this. Moving forward, the father acknowledges that Rei is not useful anymore.
No.
And so he just has to let him go. And at that last moment that Mikhail was talking about where the father hesitated, it looked like the father is like, okay, yeah, you're useless. Go away. And then when he was about to kill Rei, that seemed like that was his pettiness. He's like, oh, heck no. I'm not just letting you leave. You're going to die. And then he decided not to kill him. And that's where I believe that leaves us to interpretation. Was this his fatherly side that he never showed Rei at all? And at the last moment, he expressed it, showed it and such? Or was he just giving up? He's like, whatever.
okay, I lean towards the compassion part of the father feeling like he. I feel like there was a moment of, damn, I'm losing my best assassin, but I'm also proud of my son because he's doing one thing that I never did. And three, I think there was the part of Ray having the conviction to actually not do, like, he did something on his own. And that was one of the first times, because he was pretty much an automaton in a way. But like,
Yeah, he was a killing machine.
yeah, he was a killing machine, but he finally made an active decision. And I think his father was proud of that. But at the same time, damn, bro, esports? Man, you could have went pro.
He did. He was a really good gamer. He was pretty proficient not only in weapons but also games. All kinds of games.
So yeah, I mean, definitely, if y'all haven't watched Buddy Daddies, all 12 episodes right now are available on Crunchyroll. Make sure you go watch that, because that show, the best comparison, because it's the easiest, but it's also a cheap comparison at the same time. And we're not wrapping up the show yet. I'm just throwing this out there for anyone watching or anyone who's interested in seeing it. Buddy Daddies, if you haven't seen it, watch it. Closest comparison would be that it's similar to SPYxFamily.
Yeah.
Very much. That's the one show everyone compares Buddy Daddies to, is SPYxFamily. I'm going to make, again, because I like making controversial statements, it to me is substantially better than SPYxFamily because it's a tighter narrative. Episodes don't drag like they do in SPYxFamily, where one episode basically nothing happens other than, Anya's like, ooh, ooh, like the face is bugging out and stuff.
There's a lot of comedy in SPYxFamily.
There is, and sometimes it's done to the point where it makes the story feel like it's dragging. And which is interesting because the manga goes at a much faster pace than the anime does. And I understand, like, the manga isn't that far off from where the anime is. Like, okay, yeah, that's your filler. But considering that Buddy Daddies doesn't have like a manga, it's an anime original. Everyone compares it. A lot of people's like wrote it off. So, like I said, yeah, Glass Reflection and other anime YouTubers that wrote it off in the first episode. And I'm like, yo, we watched the first episode. We was hooked.
We were hooked.
This is good. And then it just kept getting good. And regardless of whether you watch it in a dub or a sub, either way you watch it, it's good. If you watch it in dub, phenomenal voice acting. We're hearing, I can't think of his name right now. David, I can't think of his name.
Shame
on me. You know what? I'm gonna go. I know it's I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it real quickly. Look, I'm looking it up right now. David Matranga. I should know that because I'm a fan of Orphan Scion Sorcery. Love that. But David Matranga, you guys are hearing him in so many anime now. He's been in the industry for well over 20 years. But you're hearing, like, he's getting a lot more like major roles, and it's mainly because, one, he is now he's the official voice actor for Ken in Street Fighter 6. You guys know him as Todoroki in My Hero Academia. He's Rei Sua in this show. He's Orphan in Orphan Scion the Sorcery, the original anime from 20 plus years ago, the sequel anime that came out a couple years after that, and also in the should they call it like a remake, or is like they're retelling the story because the original anime deviated from the manga? So yeah, the current anime, he's again playing Orphan. And the guy, he's amazing. He's an amazing voice actor. I would love to have him on the show.
For sure.
He's so good.
His range is amazing.
It's absolutely amazing.
And like Ray, Ray is like kind of like monotone RBF. Like what's it called? no nonsense kind of guy. Leave me alone. I just want to do my thing. But as his character develops, his voice acting, inflections.
The range, the emotion, it just like grows. And basically, I guess the best way to look at it is if you're familiar with his work as Todoroki and how monotone he was, then basically you just need to subtract about 50% of life from that role, and he's deadpan and perfect. And only time he goes in a higher pitch or range is when the moment calls for it. Although I will say that the Japanese dub, who he's done by Koki Uchiyama in the Japanese dub, I find him to be substantially better. And the reason I think he's better is for the simple fact that he's so deadpan in every delivery.
Yeah.
Even when they're in situations where you would think, oh, I got to get a little bit more intense. No, he's like still deadpan. And that's something that I guess they the voice director for the English dub decided to give him a little bit more life, because that could be difficult to be deadpan for every, like, you're think about it, you're reading a line, you're like, oh, what's the what's the situation, what's leading, what's my character thinking, oh, just sound deadpan, oh, okay, yeah, okay. Like, I would get bored. Like, it's just kind of like, we work out. And I'll say this, I do occasionally. I try to hide it. I yawn sometimes when I'm working out.
I don't yawn, and he calls me out on it.
I do. But, that's my example. Like, I'm over here like, yeah, okay, perfect form. Yeah, getting it. Muscles burning. Doing this slow. I'm bored. Oh, yeah, I would get tired if I had to read lines like that.
So anyone who's had like some experience with acting and such, we're all taught like you need to think of the story, think of why this person speaks the way they do, and you're supposed to somehow portray that through the acting, through the way you're speaking, your facial expressions. But this one's like voice acting, right? You're relying on the anime for the facial expressions, right? And so all you can do is your voice, and you get direction. So with Rei, because he's like monotone a lot, I think that's really challenging to portray whenever the emotions changes and such. It's whoever does Rei, props to you, man. Yeah. Props to y'all. Yeah. But besides that, with the character development of Rei, it was really good, showed throughout the story, and then it just shined in episode 11 and 12.
Yeah. And then like when they because when you really look at like them leading into going to the organization headquarters, you really got the vibe, or at least I thought, like, damn, somebody's gonna die.
I totally thought someone was going to die, like Kazuki or Rei. I thought,
I'm like,
Q-chan. I thought Q-chan was going to die.
Right? Like, it really gave off the impression, like, yo, somebody about to kick the bucket, because the tone just felt incredibly dark.
Super dark.
And then you started seeing them like getting really messed up and hurt. Like they both got, well, Rei self-inflicted his, he shot himself, but Kazuki got hurt. He got shot straight through the bone of his leg by Ogina, because Ogino, he shoots and does things to maim you, to make you painfully die.
Well, he doesn't kill you right away. He kills you, like he hurts you enough, and then he writes down your last words, then kills you. He waits until you say something.
That's some sadistic, like, dude.
That's messed up, but that's great writing. Really, it made an impact on us. Okay, anyone who says they do not remember Ogino is lying.
Yeah,
he left an impression.
Growing up at Kyotaru's coffee shop, which is like, because Kyotaru is he's the handler, and he's a handler for Rei and Kazuki. So when he started showing up, Ogino, I mean, when he showed up at Kyotaro's diner and basically showed a picture of Rei and Kazuki with Miri, the girl, I was like, yo, shit's about to get real. He about to hurt, somebody. And then when they would have instances like in episode, I think it was 11,
Yes.
is when they went up against him, and I'm like seeing how like Kazuki was just getting wrecked. And he's already a terrible fighter, but I'm like, damn, y'all had to put him up against the final boss?
I was worried for Kazuki too. Rei asked Kazuki to go to Miri's place because he knew that Miri was in danger. Kazi went in head forward and just got his butt whooped in one way and more. And I thought he was going to die.
Yeah, he got served in the worst way, and I'm like, yo, that's not even.
But he didn't. We got to episode 12. So we're in episode 12. They made it to Miri's preschool's Christmas party. They're wearing Santa outfits, Santa suits. The kids are wearing like these little jacket things that supposed to be like Santa Claus. Miri's super happy. She's saying, "Thank you, Santa, for bringing my present." And her present was to have both of them at the Christmas party. Like, oh my gosh, that is so sweet. And then they get their photo taken and time skip. No shit. Time skip. I was so surprised by how quick that time skip was. I was like, what?
Yeah, I was not expecting the time skip
like,
to
we
happen.
predicted a time skip. We didn't know it was going to happen in that episode.
Yeah, it is crazy because when they did the time skip, the way it happened was like after the picture was taken, then they showed, I think, a picture of Miri with her mother sitting on a desk. And then you saw like Miri from a lower angle. You saw long legs and a skirt. And I was like, what? What's
long
going on?
legs and a skirt.
I was like, wait, what's going on? And then from there, you started seeing, it started panning up, and you saw her, and she's basically in her high school attire. And I was like, how much of a time skip did we do? Because I think she was like 4 or 5 years old.
She was 4, right?
She was 4. And I believe what high school kids in Japan is 14, 15. So we assumed it was like a 15-year time skip.
Right.
And well, no, not 15 years. It was a 11-year time skip, and she was about 15 years old. And so, oh, never mind. It was a 10. Yeah, it was a 11-year time skip because I'm looking at the age. So Rei is 36 in the epilogue, and Kazuki is 39.
So anyone who's been watching or listening to this episode of Podcast Across Worlds, if you guys are liking this, don't forget to give us a like. And if you want to share this, don't forget to share it. And thank you for anyone who has been sharing it. We appreciate it and we encourage it. Yes.
Yeah.
So in this time skip, we see Miri as a high schooler. She still has her hairpin, but it's like on her uniform. So cute. And then we see both Rei and Kazuki. They look older. Adult characters actually look older. Sometimes they don't look older. Sometimes they still look the same. But this one, they are showing it by the hair, the eyes, facial hair. I mean, Kazuki had a goatee. I didn't think he would ever get a goatee. I was like kind of questioning on the goatee. Like, did you think he matched it? I was like, I don't know. You kind of look like that older player, man. You know, that trope. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like he totally did look like that at the end. But, you know, it worked. it worked for him. I was actually really surprised at how well they were able to pull it off with his look, because he is older than Ray. And then Ray had he still had long hair. It was longer than what it was throughout the show. Pulled back in a ponytail with like bangs, like French bangs, like just looping.
But his arm, Mikhail was right about his arm. It is not usable because Ray was cooking with his left hand.
Mm-hmm.
He's cooking French toast with his left hand, and his right arm is just hanging. Yeah. I was like, okay, you were right. He cannot game with that arm anymore.
Okay, so can we give it up to? We got to give all props and respect up to Ray, because for a guy who couldn't cook anything, didn't know what cooking utensils were, by the end of the series, he could make French toast.
He had a trademark dish in a restaurant that they have built for 10 years. They said 10 years. They worked honest jobs. And they own a restaurant. And the sign for this restaurant, it looked like Q-Chan's sign. It had the same looking bird. Maybe there's supposed to be a connection. I'm like hoping that they'll show some backstory on that somehow, some way. I'm not too sure. I'm just being hopeful.
Yeah, but it was again. And you killed my punchline. I was like, I want the drama to build up. I want to zoom in and just go straight into the camera and be like, hey, French toast. He could actually cook something, and it was good because Miri was like, it's so good.
She still had her habits, her facial expressions. Yeah. Oh my gosh, she was still the same but older.
Yeah. And like, you know, as in that scene, like where they're like, hey, isn't it a little early for school? Because she had gotten up, I think probably for her first day of school. And she's like, let's go outside. And then when they go outside, then it starts rolling the credits. And then they start showcasing the different pictures of different stages of life over the last 10 years. And I'm like, man, they made up for, because if you really break it down, they are responsible for the deaths of her.
Yeah, he was corrupted.
Yeah, he was I'm not sure if he's a politician or hitman or whatever. But, you know, he was corrupted. The mom was a singer who basically got what?
The mother was a singer who, you know, was always with men with problems, and then she had cancer that affected her throat, so she couldn't be a singer anymore. But because Miri was involved with Rei and Kazuki, Misaki, Miri's mother, got killed.
Yeah.
In episode 11.
Yeah. So Rei killed the father, and Ogino killed the mother. Brutal. She died a pretty horrible death. And then basically they made up for it.
They totally did. They were her family. And in that time skip, right before she went downstairs to meet up with Rei and Kazuki, she looked at a picture of her little self and mom and said, goodbye, mother. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, she knows the mom's dead. They told her the truth eventually.
Even when they said when the statement was made about the honest work, I'm like, I'm assuming she knows what they used to do.
I'm assuming too.
Right? And regardless of the fact, it's the fact that they were there, they took care of her. For her, those are her fathers. And I mean, the other thing that's kind of interesting too is Kazuki's still a player.
Yeah.
He's still fooling around. I expected, and I kind of hoped that one of them would settle down and they would like start a family with another woman, but still incorporate it into the life with Miri.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would be like the teacher.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like shipping Rei with the teacher.
For sure, because I thought they balanced each other out. I was shipping them.
I'm just like picturing right now, like if they did get together. Because she's got big boobs and whatnot. Rei would be like, oh.
It was.
Yeah, I definitely think it was. If they really want to put a cherry on top or a bow on top of the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
my thoughts would have been like, do that as a time skip as the initial shock, and then post credits, you could show like a board with different pictures and show her married and them being
Yeah.
at the wedding, and like you don't have to show a character and like to say, oh, this is who she got with. You can just leave that anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
But show her with her first child,
Mm-hmm.
and just show that they stayed a family. And that would have been like,
And leaving it open in case this does so well that they're like, we can do another season.
well, they're definitely not doing another season, but if they were to go back and do another season, I think that they did. I think they left a lot of it up to interpretation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure.
For you to be like, hey, this is how this happened, this is who this is, and just go from there. That's really what I think ultimately they did do. But I still am of the mindset
Mm-hmm.
that the studio that made the show and the writer, I don't think they assumed it would get as popular as it did. Now, it's not on the level of popularity of Spy Family. It's not up there in the popularity of like the top shows of the season.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's still a popular show. And I think when they're writing these shows or they're adapting these animes from manga, when you're doing the 12 episode format, I get frustrated because I'm like, give me 24 episodes. Blue Lock has 23, 24 episodes.
Yeah.
I know that's adapting a manga, but you have time. As a viewer, I want time with these characters.
Yeah, because we get attached to them.
Yeah.
Really attached. Like, you make such great writing. It's like carrot on the stick, and then you're like, oh, that's it.
That's it. All right. Hope y'all enjoyed it.
Like, seriously?
Peace out.
Yeah, those are my thoughts on Buddy Daddies and the season finale. If anyone else wants to share their thoughts, let us know on the comments. Whatever platform you're listening, seeing this on, let us know. We are available on all platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Even TikTok. We're even on TikTok.
Yeah.
And if you want to ask any other questions, want us to cover anything else, you can find us at Lehua Superfina on all social media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, this is my part.
Yeah.
All right. So, and you can find me, Mikhail Casanova, across the board on all social media platforms. And like Leila said, you can catch, when we record these episodes, we record them, for, short form content upload as well as for video and audio podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
But we also live stream these episodes as we record them. So if you want to interact with us, the best way is to be there when we record on TikTok. When we record based on when this little human allows us to, this child. But, it's definitely let us know, as I've said in other episodes of the show. We've got all the equipment, the audio interface, the webcams, the microphones, all the stuff to make the show work. We got the topics and such. What is this episode going to be about? Because, we love anime, we love manga, but we can't make the show better without your feedback. So if there's anything you like, you didn't like, you got to just let us know. If you're listening on any of the podcasting outlets, we're on every major podcasting platform, from Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio. Leave a rating, a comment, or leave a review, because that really helps, especially with the algorithm for podcasts. And just let us know what you think. If there's anything you want us to improve, let us know. Anything you'd like us to circle back around on, definitely, again, let us know. And if you're watching it in video format on Spotify, which they're the only platform doing video podcasts, if you want to watch, if you're watching on Spotify in video format, or on YouTube, because it's over on youtube.com/LejoSuperfina, then, like it, share it, subscribe, and comment, get engaged, and you know, just let us know, because the show only can get better with your input.
So thank you guys for listening to Podcasts Across Worlds. Keep reading manga, keep watching anime, and keep listening to Podcasts Across Worlds. We'll see you guys on the next one. Laters.
Oh yeah, also there's Patreon, so hop on over there. There's Discord too. We ain't really in it that much, but make sure you hop into Patreon, and if you want exclusive content, early access to stuff, or any of the good stuff that your favorite content creators do with Patreon, definitely, because we gotta buy diapers. Them joints ain't cheap, just saying. But anyways, as she said, laters.